Okay, now we will start our Q&A session. So, do you guys have any question?
Can I ask?
Yes.
Okay, so why did you include the 12th night tradition and the 12th cake in your storytelling?
All right. Thank you so much for the question. So, for my story, A Lost One, I chose to include the traditions of 12th night and the 12th cake because they help create a stronger, richer, and more meaningful setting for the entire performance. So, instead of starting the story in a plain palace with no cultural background, the 12th night tradition, it gives the audience a sense of time, celebration, and magic. So, the first reason is that a 12th night carries an old European festive atmosphere. So, historically, it is the final night of the Christmas season, where people would gather for feasts, games, and family celebration. So, by using this as a setting, the story immediately feels more special and more magical. So the audience, they will understand that something extraordinary could happen on this night because it is already connected to folklore, superstition, and joyful rituals. So the second reason is that the 12th cake with the hidden bean or a ring, it becomes a natural storytelling device. So in old traditions, whoever found that hidden object would become the queen or king of the night. So I use this tradition to introduce Princess Hulda's turning point. So when she finds the ring inside the cake, she becomes the queen of the night. And this becomes the moment that unlocks the arrival of the fairy and the giving of wishes. So if I did not use the 12 cake tradition, then the story would need a different explanation for why Hulda suddenly received a wish and then why the fairy suddenly appears. So if I use this tradition, then everything becomes more logical and connected. So the kids will understand better. So it also adds excitement and dramatic tension because the audience is waiting to see who will find the ring. Okay, so for the third reason is that this cultural element, it helps the story to teach a lesson. So many traditional celebration often includes themes like luck, choices, responsibility, and generosity. Like we can see, some people celebrate Christmas, some people celebrate Hari Raya. So when Hulda, she gains the ring, she could have wished for something selfish like diamonds or even the iPhone Pro Max, as the fairy jokingly mentioned, but instead she wishes for everyone to have a wish. So this creates a strong contrast between tradition and moral values. So it shows that the audience that even though that she is given like temporary royalty power, she chooses kindness first. So the 12th night tradition, it supports the story's moral theme by giving Hulda, the main character, a moment to show her good character. And then the fourth reason is that the cultural background, it makes the story more educational and globally aware. By including this European festival tradition, the story encourages children to learn more about celebration beyond Malaysia or other cultures that they already know. Uh, it supports diversity and it broadens their understanding of how different societies celebrate the end of the holiday season. And this also makes the stories suitable for upper primary audiences who are learning to appreciate multicultural elements in literature and performance. Okay, the final reason is that the tradition helps create a dramatic opening scene. So the cake moment, it allows me and my partner to engage with the audience through suspense, humor, and emotional reaction. So for example, when Hulda cuts the cake slowly, when she gasps after finding the ring, and when the fairy appears with magical sound effect. So all these dramatic elements that we use in the story, we can hook the audience from the start. And the tradition therefore act as a narrative anchor to launch the plot smoothly and memorably. So for overall, I included those traditions because they add culture, atmosphere, logic, excitement, moral depth, and educational value to my storytelling performance. So they help transform the story from a simple fairy tale into a richer and more meaningful experience for the audience. So it is not just a story, but it also helps send a lesson.
Alright. So moving on to the second question. Anyone wants to ask? Yes.
Can I ask again? Okay. For all characters, what storytelling techniques did you and your friend use to make the performance engaging? That's for me.
Okay. Thank you so much for your question. In our storytelling performance, the last one, both my friends and I use a variety of storytelling techniques to make the story engaging and lively for the audience. Since I play Huda, while my friend play the gnome, the bird, and the fairy, we focus on using our voices, facial expressions, gestures, spacing, and humor to bring each character to life. Each character required a different style, and this helped create a dynamic performance. I'll begin with my character Huda. For this role, I use a bright, expressive, and energetic voice to show that Huda is cheerful and slightly clumsy princess. When she got excited, such as when she found the ring in the 12th cake, I used a higher pitch and faster speaking speed to show her happiness. But when her magic didn't work, I slowed down and used a confused tone, saying lines like, why the one so weak? Better low is it to create humor. My facial expression were exaggerated, big smile, shocked eyes, and pouty lips to help the young audience understand her emotion clearly. I also use big body movements such as twirling, jumping back in fear, and shaking the wand like a remote control. This action emphasized Hulda's playful and dramatic personality and kept the performance visually interesting. Next is the fairy, played by my friend. She used a soft, calm, and magical tone to make fairy sound wise and gentle. Her movement was slow and graceful, with flowing hand gesture to give the impression that the fairy was floating or appearing out of thin air. This create a nice contrast with my energetic portrayal of Hulda. The fairy also used kind of facial expression like warm smile and gentle eyes to show her caring nature. And for the gnome, my friend completely changed her technique. She used a raspy, mischievous, and slightly louder voice to show that the gnome is sneaky and greedy. She bent her posture, leaned forward, and used quick, sudden hand movement to make the gnome look suspicious and dangerous. When the gnome stole the wand and the ring, she widened her eyes and used a dramatic evil laugh, which added excitement and humor. These techniques helped the audience immediately recognize that the gnome was the villain of the story. Okay, for the bird, she used a very different approach again. She suddenly made a loud squawking voice sound like cacao to show Huda and the audience. Her tone was fast, naggy, and dramatic, showing that the bird was trying to warn Hulda. She used her arm like wings, flapping them sharply, and she walked quickly, using the hand puppet to show the expression. The sudden contrast from the fairy's calmness to the bird's loud entrance with the puppet voice, it added a funny surprise element. Another important technique we both using was pacing. We slowed down during suspenseful moments like when Huda cut the 12th cake, and we sped up during action scenes such as when the gnome chased after the wand, when the gnome steal it from Huda, with the as the no one to trade with it. This helped control the audience's attention. We also added audience interaction to make the performance more engaging. For example, during the magic scene, I asked the audience to repeat after me, to repeat the spell, saying like sparkle, sparkling. This interactive moment create excitement and make the children feel involved in Hulda's journey. And lastly, we use share fashion expression and reaction. When something surprising happens, like when the bird suddenly scream, we both react dramatically, either by as Hulda jumping and the bird puppet looks shocked, with open mouth and everything. This shared reaction made the storytelling feel more natural and entertaining. In conclusion, our performance was engaging because we used a mix of voice changes, expressive gestures, character-specific movements, humor, pacing, and audience interaction. By playing each character with clear contrast and strong energy, both my friend and I managed to make the story fun, lively, and memorable for the audience. So, that's all for our meet today. Thank you so much for everyone to make your time to come. And that's all. Thank you so much. Bye.